All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Sunday Night Charts with Jim of All Trades. It is the post-Super Bowl live stream. Sunday Night Charts. It's almost Monday morning. Another hour. We'll be there. All right, good to see you guys. We're going to keep this one a short one, but we're going to look at Bitcoin and see what we can see with the wave structure. Good to see you guys tonight. I guess you guys might be interested in seeing me, maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? Activate 3, 2, 1. There I am in all of my glory. There I am. All right, cool. All right, guys, good to see you. Sorry if you've been waiting on me. I like to watch football, and I like the Super Bowl. I had the Chiefs pegged to win, though I would have preferred to see the San Francisco win. But who did you guys want to see win? Let me know in the comments there. All right, don't forget here, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a trader. Trader, not a triater. Not a traitor, but a trader. I loved trade on markets, and I use Elliott wave theory to help my perspective. And so I'm going to show you how I look at the market from an Elliott wave perspective. Kimosabi, thanks for being around, buddy. Seth, good to see you. Glad you made it home, bud. Thanks. Good to have dinner with you tonight. Seth came to see me. Seth Drake came to see me do a show that I'm in. I'm currently in a play, and we're finishing it up next weekend. Next weekend will be the last weekend we're doing it. We're having fun. So, yeah, it was the who did win? It was the Chiefs won at the very last in overtime. So. Couldn't have scripted it any better than that. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe they did script it. Yeah. How many of you guys believe the NFL is rigged? I think there's a certain amount of rigging that happens. I don't know how and what they do, but certainly there's a certain amount of it that they do. All right. Well, let's jump into the charts, guys. Let's look and see what's developing, what's happening right here. It's interesting wave structure. I like it, actually. I like it quite a bit. And we're going to talk about an unpopular wave count. And I know some of you are going to struggle with the wave count. I really think some of you are going to have a hard time. But once you begin to see what's happening here, what the market makers do, you might come to appreciate what I'm going to present tonight. So let's jump in. You might be a little different than you think. We are in the precipice of up or down. Guys, it is always up or down. The market moving one way or the other is dependent upon the liquidity that is developed by traders. Please understand that, and I'll talk about this tomorrow on our Market Maker Monday as well, as we look in tomorrow's video and look at the evidence of market maker manipulation of price, guys. And what you're going to know is that price moves around liquidity zones on the market. Some of you call them consolidation zones and whatnot. So price will consolidate. We call them liquidity zones in our group because that's exactly what's happening. Liquidity is being built up, and the market makers go where the liquidity is. They actually create the zones, and then they take the market to those places. So anyway, we're going to look at that tonight. I'm going to look at the Elliott wave structures to show you where price might be heading based upon the wave structure, and give you some ideas. We'll give you the bullish ideas. We'll give you the bearish ideas. I'll tell you my opinion after I do the analysis, and then we'll look at the broader market. We'll look at the S&P. We'll look at the Nasdaq, DXY. Of course, we'll look at Ethereum, ADA, XRP as normal. Okay, so again, I'm not here to give you financial advice, but I am going to tell you what I think about the market, where it's going. And you guys tell me what you guys think about the market in the comments. Love to hear your thoughts. If you have a chart you want to share and you want to be famous and have your chart put up on Jim of All Trades, Sunday Night Charts, here's what you do. At the top of your TradingView screen, you're going to see tradingview.com/chart or /X or something like that. I need everything after the .com of TradingView. So whatever comes after that /, just give me that in the comments, and I will pull your chart up. You can share it like that. All right? So let me just say hi to everybody. Eli Rev, what's up, buddy? Says Jim of all trades is greater than the Super Bowl. I don't know about that, but thank you guys thank you, man, for that awesome comment. I appreciate that. And Seth agreed. I appreciate it. Let's see. Crypto Fever. Hey Jay, what's going on, my man? He's in the UK. Takes care of my Twitter feed. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Keith M has always been faithful listener and watcher every week. He's usually the first to comment. So welcome, buddy. Evo, what's up, man? Robot. Hey, buddy. Ending diag? Don't think so. Unless you're talking about like on the 1 minute time frame. I haven't looked at that. So Daniel L. Hey, bud. Good to see you. Make sure I catch everybody here. Jean Del Rubio. What's up, buddy? Good to see you as well. Sorry I didn't start the stream sooner. Dango, Wyckoff distribution schematic. Yeah, absolutely. I think distribution might be on the table here. Jason, the man is here. I'm not. Hey, thanks, buddy. All right. Let's look at the market and see what's going. Eschococo. I forgot what you told me your name means, but good to see you. Saw your comment just come in. All right, let's jump in, guys. I'm going to ignore everybody that comes in after this at this point. What are the 2 traders you trust on YouTube? Man, that makes me feel fantastic. Who's the other trader? I'd be interested to know, Mo. Who's the other guy that I'm up there with in your mind? Appreciate you, man. All right, let's look at the chart. Let's jump in. And good day, good evening to everybody. 41 of you here. That's rocking, man. That's awesome. Oh, no, 35 of you here. 33. Hey, 9 likes. Hit them like buttons for me, guys. Let YouTube know this is something everybody should be watching, right? All right, so, I got an arrow pointing down. Is that possible? Is it possible we're going down? Could this be a double top? Could be a double top. Or are we going to go and break the top? Well, first off, let me just confess, I don't know. I'm not here to tell you what I know. I don't know anything. I'm just a guy looking at. Jason, no, please no. Trader's Reality, yeah, he's a good dude. I like him. He's got a good channel. Please get that crypto savvy crap off my channel, please, Jason. You know better than that, I'm sure. Oh man, I have a long history with crypto savvy, and I would suggest that you stay far, far away. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. All right, anyway, we're gonna keep moving. I'm not here to bash anybody, but I do bash him. Sorry, I can't help it. Don't go to the light. I can't help it. Don't bash savvy. I can't help it. All right. Hey, no worries, brother. No worries, man. Take it easy. All right, so let's check out what's going on. So we've got, could this be a double top and a fake out into the upside? It could be. It totally could be, but we'll check and see the wave count here. So what could be happening here? Oh, I was confessing. I wanted to confess, and let me just warn you guys that there's no YouTuber out there that knows anything that's going to happen in the market, guys. There's nobody that knows anything that's going to happen in the market. So if they pretend like they know where the price is going, they talk unequivocally about where price has to go, please don't watch their channel anymore. Hey, love Dragonfly Trading. Love Dragonfly. She's wonderful. Crypto Ed. I don't know Crypto Ed. I have to check him out. So, yeah. But, yeah, Dragonfly is absolutely wonderful. She was part of my Discord years ago. I spent a lot of time together. We became very good friends. She's a good friend. All right. With that said, let's keep rocking. So nobody knows where the market's going. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to show you that I'm going to at least analyze wave structure, at least as part of my analysis. Part of my analysis needs to look at what the waves are telling me where price might be going, because waves tend to form and develop in patterns that are reproducible patterns that you can develop. And Elliott Wave gets at those reproducible patterns, in my opinion, the best way. Wyckoff is another good way that gets at those reproducing patterns that you see. I'm not a big studier of Wyckoff. So Kimosabi is a big Wyckoff fan, so he spends a lot of time looking at Wyckoff, talking at Wyckoff. He's in some Wyckoff groups, and he's in my group as well. He brings that to the table in our Discord, so I appreciate that about him. But I don't get into Wyckoff a whole bunch, though I respect it and see it. But so the question is, what's the best way to look at the chart that will give you the most consistency in interpreting the wave structures by technical analysis? Remember, technical analysis is looking at the chart, only the chart, not the fundamentals, not anything like that, but only looking at the chart and trying to interpret what's happening, based on the information you have on the chart exclusively. So for me, my favorite piece of the puzzle is Elliott Wave theory. So let's look at the Elliott Wave structure, say what could be happening here, okay? Now, there's a couple of ways to interpret what we have going on. And my guess is that this is a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. That's 5 waves, okay? That's a finished impulse wave. Now, I could be wrong on that because, again, my interpretation of what I'm seeing could be incorrect. But that's an interpretation that I want to show you. So in that case, then we're looking at a 3-wave move to the downside, a 3-wave move to the upside, and I'm looking for a 3-wave move back down to the downside. I would not be surprised to see $4,000 on the table for Bitcoin as we get 3 waves back down to the downside. That's one way to look at this overall wave structure that we're seeing. You'll notice that Bitcoin likes to retrace to the 618, and we have indeed retraced to the 618 of this entire move. We tagged it. We tagged it perfectly. Depending on how you pull the fibs, we came right to the 618 retrace of the all-time high down to the this first move down here. So that's something to consider. We have now tagged that area 2 times now, and we're at the precipice of, are we going to get a rejection here, or is this going to take price up to the next target zone, or are we going to wick through this target zone in 5 waves? And I to be honest with you, I'm about as neutral as I can be, but my guess based on price structure is that we're probably going to make our way up to 54K maybe. But I also have a strong feeling like that may be wrong, and so I'm kind of neutral. I'm torn between the bullish and the it's not a bullish count because I'm overall bearish. The count that you see on the screen is my primary count. That's kind of what I think is happening in the market. That's my basic take on the macro idea. So I'm looking for 3 waves. I'm looking for this to come back down in 3 waves, something like that. So I would not. Sorry. Hey, Chemo, make sure anybody that mentions Crypto Savvy, make sure that they're blocked from the comments. Jason, I'm just joking, brother. Comment all you want. I'll tell you the story. Anybody that's been around a while, since back in the day, knows the history I have with Chemo. All right, video feed has some chop. Let's check. Let me just check my live stream, see what's going on. I got a green arrow. I guess I can. There we go. We're reconnecting. Boom, boom. Let's see if that does a little bit better. Let me know if the video and sound is better. Okay, very good. Let's get that off the screen. There we go. Perfect. All right. So anyway, this is my overall perspective. That's my favorite count. That's not the only count there is, but that's my favorite count for sure. Now, I offered a secret count last week. I offered a secret count last week. The other macro idea that I offered, and somebody pushed back and said it's an invalid count. I asked where they get their source material for the invalidation of the count. They did not respond, so still waiting to hear back from you. If that was you, I'd love to hear back from you. But basically, you might count this like this. This is a 1, 2, and this is wave 3 to there. Then we got a wave 4, and now we're in the process of making a wave 5, and that's an expanding leading diagonal or something like that. I don't really believe diagonals exist. To be honest with you, I don't believe diagonals exist on the macro. In fact, I don't believe Elliott works on a macro quite like this in complex structures like that, personally. So, to be honest with you, I'm much more of a fan of applying Elliott wave theory on the smaller time frames, the daily chart and lower. But I don't want to get into that debate at this moment. Okay, so my point here is that I don't know that whether my first count or my second count is correct, but I think it's more likely that my first count is the correct one. If there's a macro count here, I'm looking for something like this, probably. Okay, all right. With that said, let's talk about what this wave could be here. So how do you interpret this middle wave? So I want to do just a little bit of work here in the macro here. So how do you interpret this wave? Well, one of the ways I'm interpreting is like this. So this is actually an A wave, a B wave, and the C wave ends right here. I really personally have a hard time looking at this any other way than a 3-wave move right here. 3. I have done a lot of work on this, and I have a hard time. Some people try to make this a triangle of some kind. I have a very hard time with this being some kind of a triangle. I really do. I don't think it's a triangle. I imagine it's possible, though, and so I at least give a little credence to that idea. So we could bring the C down to here, okay? And that might be that, and I may have to just be, I may have to, sometimes when I don't like a count, I may have to just say it is what it is. And that's the best interpretation. So that's not a gigantically horrible interpretation, just not my favorite interpretation. But why not? Maybe so. And so in that case, we'd bring the bottom of C right here. And in this case, what we'd have then is some kind of a zigzag working, okay? We have a zigzag working. All right. So if that's the case, then we're looking for A, B, C. So let's just spend a little bit of time on that count there. So if this is an A, and that's a B, and that's a C, the question is, did the C wave finish, or did we have a wave 4 in this little move right in here, and now we're waiting for the C wave to finish in a wave 5, because C needs 5 waves. Okay, so the C wave of the ABC needs 5 waves in it. So the question is that C wave finished? Do we have 5 waves here? So no matter what count you look at, this needs to be 5 waves. So I think the macro count, whether this is an ABC or as another way you could count it, is we could put the C wave here, and we could call this a really out of whack, crazy extended C wave from the bottom, where you have 5 waves here. And in this case, you would interpret this, not a giant fan of this count, but it used to be my count, where you got 1, 2, this is 3, that's 4, and all of this is an extended 5th wave. Okay, extended 5th waves often look like it's a 1-to-1 extension of waves 1 to 3, and that's exactly what you've got here. You've got kind of a 1-to-1 extension of that move. So I think that's a possible and plausible interpretation of that. So anyway, so yeah, you could call that 5 waves, or I think you could get away, you can call it 3 waves. Either way, whether you count this as an ABC, or 5 waves of a C wave, or 5 waves of a 1 wave, or whatever, okay, I think you're constrained to call this move from here up to here an impulse wave, and we're looking for 5 waves, okay? And so I think we can spend all of our time here and say, okay, all of our time needs to be focused in on my cat is playing. I don't even know what that cat is doing, but anyway, if you can hear that, if you see some blur go behind me, that's my cat saying and doing. I don't even know what he's doing. There he goes. She's just playful right now. She's just having a big old time. Anyway, so I think we need to spend all of our time looking at that wave right there. So let's zoom in now. and say, okay, what is that wave? Okay, so we're going to go here on the 8-hour chart here. No, let's not spend, let's look on the 8-hour for a moment and say, okay, what do we have? Actually, you know what? I think the 4-hour might give us a little bit more detail. Let's get the RSI off the screen just for a moment and say, okay, how would you count this wave? Are there 5 waves there? Is there 5 waves? Well, yeah, there's a 5-wave shape here. You got a 1 and a 2. Now, the 1 is counted kind of funky. You could move the 1 down here and have a flat 2, or you could have a 1, 2, 1, 2 here. There's any number of ways you can handle this little crap down here. But let's just say we got a 1, 2 down here. We're going to put the top of 3 right there. 4 at the bottom of that wave, and then we're going to call this an ending diagonal 5th wave. That's my primary count, guys. And that count is not invalidated. In other words, the idea that this wave right here, from here to here, is a finished 5-wave move. That what we're getting now is a reversal in a wave. That this wave here is a 3-wave retracement, okay, of this initial move down. And what we've done is we've come all the way back to the top, and we've done this in such a way that everybody's like really bullish right now, even me, because this wave is super bullish. But what's interesting now, what the interesting point is that this wave has developed, and I see 5 finished waves in there, and this could be an ABC. And I'm actually leaning at this moment, leaning into that count. That we have finished. We are not going to break this top. I think it was a fake out up there. I think it was a liquidity grab by the market makers to get everybody going long in this wave, because this wave was relentless. It just kept going and going and going and going. And what I'm seeing develop right here is a proportional wave structure that I see all the time in Elliott that's proportional to my wave 1, 2. So in which case, I think you have an argument here for a finished 5 waves, and that's a C wave. And so we can actually, there's an argument here saying, hey, listen, we've got an A, we got a B, and now we got a C, and it's finished. It didn't break the top. And so if that's an ABC that didn't break the top, we have a very valid A wave, which is 5 waves, followed by a B wave, which is 3 waves, looking for a C wave to the downside. Minimum. That would be what we would be looking for, a move back down to the downside, a minimum of a C wave, but it could turn into an impulse wave if they wanted to, but minimum of 3 waves. Then then we could talk about what's to happen after that, whether it goes up impulsively to make new highs, or it goes up in 3 waves and then we continue down. There's so many things that can happen after that. It's not clear, and we could get caught up in all that stuff. And I think there's time to do that, but it's not going to be during this live stream. Why? Because we really don't need to get that far in advance, because the market doesn't move that fast. We got time next week. Once this wave is validated or kind of revealed its hand, what it's doing, whether it's going to go up here and break the top or start working its way down. Once that is revealed, then we have time to work on those other counts. This wave isn't going to go straight down forever. And it's not going to go so fast that we won't have time to talk about it in a daily video or in another live stream next week. We have time to work on it. In fact, they could play around. Price could play around all up here for the next week if they wanted to, and still go down, or it could go up. It just depends on what they want to do and how long they want to take with price. Okay? Sorry, I'm ignoring anybody in the chat. If you guys are talking to me, I'm not even seeing you right now because I felt I was getting distracted by some of the comments about Savvy, and that's a trigger for me. I have a very bad history with that dude, and anyway, it gets me thinking, and I need to be focused on what I'm doing so I can give you guys some real value here tonight, because I'm not interested in hating on anybody. I put that behind me. I just don't like to be reminded, to be honest with you. All right, so with that, I would prefer, if you don't mind, Jason, not mentioning him on my channel, because I'm just not a fan, and I really don't enjoy it. And if you don't like that, I get it, and you're welcome to go on to another channel, but I'm not a fan at all. So anyway, yeah, sorry, a little bit of a trigger there, a little trigger point. Sorry about that. Anyway, with that said, what's going on? So that's a real count that as we look at this, we say, hey, I think there's a real shot that this thing has actually topped, and that this is a 3-wave pullback, and that this could be a reversal zone. We're gonna dive into this wave a little bit deeper in just a moment. Okay, but I'm going to show you the alternate counts that can be here. But what I wanted to show you is the fact that I think there's an ending diag here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got the 4 overlapping the 1. Everything is 3 waves when you dive into it. And so that's a real candidate for an ending diagonal. Okay, so if that's an ending diag, that's usually a telltale sign that a wave is ended. And that diag came after what seems to be a very clear 3-3-5 flat, which is a nice wave 4. Okay, so in other words, I think there's a real argument here that says we got a 1 and a 2, we got 3, we got 4 and 5, and I think we're finished. I think the wave is done, personally. Now, is there another way to interpret it? Absolutely. Let's talk about it. So what you could say is that you could argue, say, no, Jim, you got a 3. This is 3. That's 5, and that's a flat there, and that's your wave 4. What we're now developing is a wave 5, and that we need 5 waves developing. So this really needs to take a turn to the upside, kind of go up kind of quick, and continue on finishing. That this is wave 3. It's not even close to being done. That this is about to turn up, go up really fast, consolidate a bit more and bigger and longer, and then make a 5th wave move. And then you'd have 5 waves in the 5th wave. And then you'd have a really nice wave structure there, in which case I could say, yes, there's a 5-wave structure we expect to see when Bitcoin tops. You got a nice 4 structure and a nice 5 structure. And more than likely on the higher time frames, you would see divergence developing in that wave. I'm trying to bring up my there we go. And you would see divergence developing in this particular wave and in this wave that's here as well. So anyway, those are the 2 counts on the table, guys. I mean, really, that's where we are in the chart. That's kind of where we are. We are either this. And I guess you could argue and say, hey, wait, Jim, there's some other counts on the table. And there really are. There are other counts. This thing could be super, super bullish, right? If this thing came down here in 3 waves like this, that could still be part of a majorly bullish count, in which case this becomes like a 1, 2, and a 1, 2. And then all of a sudden, we're looking really high for that next move to the upside. 100K, here we come. If that's a 1, 2, 1, 2, if that develops. Let's see if that develops. We've got time to analyze that wave and that idea as it comes. So what we need to do now is zoom into the smaller time frame, the hourly, the 30-minute, something like that, and let's analyze this particular move right here. You say, what do we got going on right here? What's happening in this wave right here? How do we interpret what's happening in here? I think one way to interpret it is that's a triangle, okay? Now, if that's a triangle, there's a couple of ways to look at this particular wave. But the main way we would look at it is that's an A. The triangle is wave B, okay? And this is a 5-wave, wave C, okay? So we'd count the triangle like this. It's 5 waves, A, B, C, D, E. Now, that's problematic in some ways. That count as a triangle is problematic. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you there, but it's not horrible. It's not absolutely horrible. It's a decent way to play. Okay, it also could be a like an expanded like a running flat. Instead of a triangle, it could be a running flat where you have 3 waves down. And then this is interesting right here. 3, 5, or no, how did I count that? We're just going to count this as 3, and then we're going to count those as 5. So 3, 3, 5, ABC. I'm not a giant fan of that count, but it's not horrible. You got to play around with this in here, and I can't remember how I was counting it, but I did count it, and I did come up with a valid count, and that's a real possibility as well. So, I mean, maybe, right? But either way, that's a connecting structure. This is a complex connector wave of of a 5-wave move and a 5-wave move, which we call in our Elliott world a zigzag, guys. It's just a simple zigzag. This has gone up so impulsively, guys. It's crazy. So what do we have going on? Well, if we got a zigzag, if this is a zigzag, whether this is an ABC here or that's a triangle here, what that would mean is that we need 5 waves in this wave. So let's do a little work on that wave right now and say, okay, is there evidence to say, hey, we have 5 waves completed? Is there evidence to say, yeah, we got 5 waves? Well, let's test it out. Let's count the waves. We got a wave 1 and a wave 2, okay? And then we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 3 to here. This would be your wave 4, okay? And what you have going on right here is your wave 5. And that would be a finished count. That means in wave 5, we need 5 waves in wave 5. So we would zoom in on that guy there and say, okay, do we have 5 waves in wave 5? Well, I mean, a way to count that would be 1. Let's see. Let's try that again. Yeah, I guess you got to say 1, 2. Then you got a little tricky count here, but we're going to call this 3. We're going to call this 4. And we're going to call this 5. I think that count's problematic as well. That count is problematic. So there's a little bit of internal questioning in my mind saying, oh, is that a good count or not? I don't know. What you'd have to do in that case in order to count that is you got a 1, 2 right down in here, the real small and tiny. Right, so you'd have to basically say there's a 1, there's a 2, this is 3, this is 4, and that's 5, and that's your 5 waves of wave 3. The 4 and the 1 don't overlap. They're just not very proportional. That's my only issue, okay? They're not very proportional. But nevertheless, then you could say, okay, then we've got some kind of wave 4. Now, I don't like that for this structure. I really don't. I'm not a fan. Be honest with you, I'm not a real big giant fan of that being a wave 4. How do you count that crap? It's trash. Is that some kind of a running triangle? Maybe. In which case, what you have in a running triangle is we'd call this A. That's B, C, D, E. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, you got a flat right in there. I mean, I imagine you could say W down to here. You'd have to really stretch to get 3 waves out of there. I suppose you can get a triangle wave 4 here. Not horrible, but not exciting. And then you get, 1, 2, 3. We're going to say 4 and 5 right up here in the wick there. So that's a finished. So, I mean, that count works. It's just not pretty. It's just not a pretty count. And guys, sometimes the ugliest counts are the correct counts. Because they don't make it super easy to spot tops because the counts often aren't that pretty. Okay. So anyway, there's the argument that says, hey, listen, guys, we have what seems to be a valid or semi-valid, if you're not a big fan of it, a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whether you like it or not, there's an argument to say there it is. That's 5 waves. That's completed. We've got the divergences we expect to see. We actually have double divergence, which is what I expect to see if I have the top of wave 3 and the top of wave 5. Oh, excuse me. And I have a defined wave 3 and wave 5 of the 5th. So when I have those defined like that, then guys, I think we have an argument to say, hey, we got a finished wave potentially here, and what you might see is this wave starting to trend its way down. Now I think it's probably going to play around up here to keep everybody guessing a little longer, and it'll probably play around into tomorrow's New York opening, but eventually we're going to start working our way down, and all of a sudden a bunch of longs are going to be trapped up here. Anybody going long up here that doesn't take their profit, okay, is going to get trapped in this area, and they might be coming down. So I think that I'm not here to tell you that's certainly going to happen. I'm not here to advocate for that count, except to say I see a lot of merit in it. I see a lot of say, yeah, you know what, that looks like a decent count. Is it definitely the interpretation of the waves, and is it definitely that's what's going to happen? No, I'm not saying that at all. In fact, what else is in me, and I said this in my Discord, it seems because of the way this is going up, it seems most likely that this is a wave 1. Excuse me, and this is a wave 2 right here. And now we're getting another wave 1, 2. So that's a 1, 2, 1, 2 here. We're in the middle of the wave 3 of the third, and this has a lot more to go. This is coming way up here for something like that, even a little higher, more than likely, if that's a 1, 2. In other words, we would count this like this: 1, 2. We're looking for wave 3 to finish somewhere, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah, now you begin to see that, oh, okay, yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Something like that. So if this pulls back and continues up, that this may have a lot more. This may start going up kind of choppy, but still moving up, collecting liquidity. And this count right here would give validity to the fact that this was indeed an A, B, C. So I think that's a very plausible count as well. And so those are the two interpretations that I see on the table. And I think it's anybody's game at this point. We could go up and take that high and keep kind of pushing up to 54, 55K. I think that's real plausible. Excuse me. I think that's possible. Or what I just said, the market is making it look like she's going to push up there, but she's about to reverse and start working her way down. And it's going to start off slow and choppy, but she's eventually going to start working her way down with some speed, trapping a bunch of longs here and getting them to lose their money, stopping out their trade, ultimately taking out liquidity here, ultimately taking out liquidity down here, pulling back and continuation down. So this may be the start of a bigger move to the downside, but it may take a while to develop. In other words, we may get the first wave and then the second wave, and then shoot, they could do another 1, 2 after that, right? And so they could stay in this range, right? Oops, sorry. They could keep price in this range quite a while. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then go. So for the next month and a half or 2 months, we might be up here in this current range, and this becomes a distribution area, okay? This becomes a continuation of a distribution area, and then this is going down, and it's going down hard and heavy, and that count that I said down to 4,000 might be in play. I can't stop yawning. So sorry. All right, give me 1 second. I got some coffee right over there. Let me go grab it, and then I'll come back, and we'll talk about your comments in just a moment. All right, I'm back at it. Thank you. I thought I had coffee made already. I don't, so I'm gonna have to make some instant coffee. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Not many of you talking. Yeah, robot, I don't think is an ending diag, my brother. I don't see that forming up. I don't. But respect the idea for sure. But I don't think it stands that test of an ending diag. It just didn't give me that look, but I could be wrong on that. All right, driving but listening in. Awesome, Keith. Good to hear from you. All right, guys. Well, listen, that's my analysis. That's my how do I say it? That's my basic, concise understanding of where we are and what's at stake here on the charts for Bitcoin. I personally, I see a corrective wave 4 or a top that's already developed. When you look at this wave here, guys, it looks like a nice 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks finished to me. You'll notice the divergences that are here. We have divergence here in this wave to that wave. So that's the top of wave 3. We have the divergence between this wave and that wave, and that's the top of wave 5. And then we have divergence between that wave and this wave. So almost triple divergence, which is the wave top of wave 3 and 5 of the 5th. So it's looking great, guys. I mean, to me, that looks about finished. I think this wave needs to make some work, headway back down to the downside. Let the hourly get oversold here. Okay, get a pullback, a 3-wave pullback. It's going to get everybody thinking bullish again. Here we go to the moon. But what it's going to do is just reset the RSI to go down for the next wave. We're not going to be going up here. Boom, boom, boom. No, no, no. We're going to actually make 3 waves and come on down. And this is going to end up 5-waving us back down to this range here. Finding support maybe here, maybe taking the low out, maybe not. And then we get a 3-wave pullback. Okay, and that 3-wave pullback is going to take a while to develop, but that's going to keep us in the range. So I kind of really, that's, if you ask me, that's probably, I like that count quite a bit, and I think there's a lot of merit to that. The question is, does the rest of the market, is the rest of the market validating that idea? My coffee just finished heating up. Would you guys allow me to do that so I'm not yawning to death here? I'll be right back. I'm making coffee. Unfortunately, it's the instant kind, but nevertheless, I'm exhausted, guys. All right, got the coffee now. All right. Let's look at the rest of the market. Let's look at Ethereum, ADA, and XRP. That gives us a general overview of the crypto market, crypto world, just to see. And we'll look at it a little quicker. What you'll notice here, guys, is that Ethereum has a very 3-wave-ish shape. What it does not have, what it's missing that Bitcoin has, is a 5-wave-ish look of the C wave. In other words, we got a 3-wave shape. Yes, fine. Okay. However, we do not have a 5-wave shape here that I like on the C wave. I don't feel like this is 5 waves. It could be, but I don't feel like it is. But nevertheless, it could be. Now, it's possible that this could be a WXY, where this is actually 3 waves to the upside, 3 to the downside, and then 3 up. Now, if that's the count, if it's a WXY, then I'm like, okay, cool. Then the Y wave could be A, B, and C. That does look like 5 waves in C. Right there, you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything's proportional, looks good, and then you can call this some kind of WX and a Y or an ABC. There, that's a 3-wave move, and then 3-wave move. That's a WXY. It's a double correction. Perfect. That'd be a fine count. Okay. And what that's done, that provided a correction back to the 786 or the 618 golden zone. Yeah, we made it to the golden zone here. We got 3 waves. Everything looks great. Let's go down now for some more down. Okay. So you could see how Ethereum is kind of coming into the golden zone. It's ripe for at least a pullback or a reversal And so this could be the A wave or the W wave. That could be X or B. And then we could be looking for Y or C. Okay? So that's how that could be playing right now. You'll notice that on the 4-hour chart, we have had a break of the local structure, but it does not look like we've broken the higher time frame structure, or maybe we have. Let's test and see. Okay, no, it's testing support right here. So, we'll have to see if this is going to break to the downside. If it does on the RSI, that's giving an advance warning that, hey, maybe this thing is indeed breaking. But we need to see the next 4-hour candle close. So this next candle that closes on the 4 hours is going to be telling as to what it might be. Okay, let's take a peek. Now, what else could this be? Well, I imagine this could be the beginning of some kind of 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that. And that could be going up here to take the high out. Totally could be moving on its way. But I really don't think so. I mean, this looks like a nice 1, 2, 3. I got a really nice wave 4 here and a wave 5. That looks like a finished wave to me, guys. It really does. For those of you who love chart patterns, you got a head and shoulders forming here, guys. So I think it's real plausible that Bitcoin is finding a top here. If it's not topped already, it may have to work its way up a little higher, but it looks like Ethereum is not going to break its high. I imagine it still could. This could still pull back and go up, pull back and go up. That's totally possible. It's totally plausible. It's fine. To me, I look at this wave structure. I'm like, this came down here. I'm expecting. I don't know. Ethereum, if it's going to go up and break the top, it needs to pick up speed. It needs to go up faster than it's going. So maybe that's going to happen over the next day or two. We're going to pick up some speed to the upside, some impulsivity, while maybe Bitcoin goes to make higher highs, hits that 55K target or something like that. Who knows, right? But right now we got a 3-wave look, right? We've got to respect it. We can't just ignore it. It's got a 3-wave shape. Is it finished? Is it not finished? Hard for me to say. It might be and it might not be. So I don't know. And again, I want to reiterate the fact that I don't know anything. I'm just sharing my view of this wave structure that we're looking at and say, yeah, this is plausible. This is possible. I'm making a case here from the wave structure to say, hey, listen, be careful, guys. I don't know that I would be all that bullish here without caution. Okay. You need to be cautious, you bulls. But those of you, I'm not advocating that everybody go all in short either, because I think you ought to be cautious short as well. You've got plenty of time to short this if it's going to be a short. I'm not advocating a short is ready right now, because this thing could pull back, look like it's going down, then go take the high, and then come down, then come back up in 3 waves, and then come down, come back up in 3 waves, and then finally the big move, and all of a sudden you got all this time developing, and this took a month of price action to develop. So understand that the short that may be coming, it may develop over the next month, and it may take that long for price to escape this range up here. Okay, the market makers need time to sell their longs, all the longs that they reaccumulated up in this range here. They've got to have time to sell them, right? So they can't just sell them all in one shot. There's just not enough time. They're going to have to spend some time up here distributing what they bought. So we understand that that's normal price action. They can't just form their positions in one fell swoop. It's going to take time. So I think the takeaway here is I've got 2 charts that are telling me, you know what, there's a good chance price stays in a range, this upper range, this upper, $8,000 range over the next month at least, where price stays local. Now this, again, could go and take the high here, but price will still, whatever high it finds, whenever it finds it, 54, 55, 56K maybe, it's going to stay in the range between 39K and 50K over the next month. Expect that, I would say. Don't think that if we break up now that we're going up to 100K. I don't think that's the takeaway here at all. I think the charts are pointing more to the development of a longer term correction that may find, if you go back to the COVID the COVID dump and the price action prior to that, that we're probably getting something of that nature. So go back and look at of March of 2020 and February of 2020, and all the price action that was going on from January to February. That might be emulating exactly what's happening right now. So, and the top that we got in Bitcoin here is we had an impulse, a three-wave move. We had another impulse, a three-wave move. It gave us a 1-2-1-2 before it finally broke down and gave us the COVID dump that we all know and love and remember. Those of you that were in the market back then, let me know in the comments if you were around during the COVID dump. And I was yelling and screaming during that time. As price was going up, I was yelling and screaming that this thing's going to be going down. Now, did I know it was going down to 6K? I did not know it was going, or 3K? I did not know it was going that low. I didn't expect how it came down. I just knew that the wave structure was yelling down, 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 and potentially down big because of the 1-2-1-2 that formed up at the top. You can go check out my videos prior to the COVID dump, prior to the top, where the top of that wave is as it was pushing up, and then as it began developing. I think at the top I saw that there was an ending diag with a throw over. We nailed the top on that one. Go back and watch the videos in my timeline and you'll see. You can kind of check me. Check my videos around all the tops and the bottoms, and you'll find that when we're around the bottoms, I get really bullish, and when we're around the tops, I have a good track record of being bearish. So right now, guys, I am very bearish. I am very bearish. I see wave structure that is screaming at me. There's a top formation here that I need to pay attention to, though there's an invalidation of it and I'm ready to be invalidated, but I see wave structure that's kind of screaming at me, hey, be careful here, be cautious here. There's a potential top being put in right now, but I also see the potential for upside and momentum here taking us up at some point, at some time, between now and the next month, up to 54, 56K, around that range. Okay, so we've looked at Ethereum. Let's look at ADA. You say, okay, what is the ADA chart telling us? Is it telling us anything? Let's zoom out to the daily chart and say, okay, what do we got going on here? What's happening with the wave structure? Okay, as I look at this, and I'm just low-hanging fruit here, I got a 3-wave up, I got a 3-wave down, I got 3 waves up, and now I'm working. It looks like we need to roll over and come down to make 3 waves down. So we got boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now, can this take another shape? Can this take longer to develop? Can this get complex? Absolutely. But I don't know necessarily that ADA's history is calling for a big move up like this, though. I suppose it's possible. I suppose that's a possible interpretation of the waves that you have. But more, what it looks like to me is that this right here is a pullback that's getting ready to work its way back down. That we got a nice 3-wave shape here. Boom. We're getting ready to work our way down for 3 waves. And that would give you a W, X, and a Y. Just like that. That could be wrong. Absolutely. I always let people know that I could be wrong. I want you to know that there's no certainties in this Elliott wave interpretation game, because this thing could pull back and then go up, pull back and go up, and this could get bullish right here, right? If they want to get bullish here, they totally can get bullish here. But I look at this wave structure, I'm thinking, okay, boom, boom. Let's go back down now. That makes sense to me. That looks right to me from a wave structure standpoint. So that's my bearishness, but I readily admit, hey, we have broken. We've broken the trend back to the upside. Okay, so I think now it's pertinent to watch this move right here. Watch this move right there. If you see the RSI dip below that trend line, you need to be short. You need to be looking short, making sure you're shorting this market. ADA, because ADA is going to be trending down. So you make sure you look for short setups once this thing dips below the moving average right here. More than likely. Take a peek at XRP real quick, and then we'll look at the regular charts. Same thing going on with XRP. We got, let me go down a smaller time frame, maybe the 6 hour. There we go. On the 6 hour chart, what you'll notice here is that we have a very three-wave shape. We have a three-wave shape right there. And something else that's interesting, if you'll notice, is that we have a trend going up right here. We got a trend, and we have broken that trend line has broken to the downside. Okay, so that's letting you know momentum is shifting to the downside. Let me highlight times when that happens. Now, you'll notice right here, that trend line, that we broke this and it continued down. So when you get momentum breaks like that, even if it pulls back a bit, this looks like it needs to come down some more. So down looks like the direction for now in XRP, especially when I see that break there. It's kind of letting me know, hey, we might get some more down here. We got a break right here. Boom, down, right? We had a break right here. Down we go. So let's see if this, now if we get a break of this line right there, if this breaks and goes down, ooh, that's going to be big time down. It's going to be down, down, down. That's going to be very downish, more than likely. It's going to point to some big time movements to the downside. Okay, and I have an upward trend line right here to pay attention to. So right here, this trend line here. So if we break to the upside here, if we break up here, and I'm wrong about the downward movement, if we break up, then we're looking for it to break this trend line. If it breaks that trend line, then we all of a sudden start to get a little bit more bullish. We start to get bullish on XRP and not bearish. So that's the way I would be looking at that. Okay. All right, guys, there it is. What's up, Laplation? Good to see you, buddy. All right, guys. I've done my crypto analysis. Let's look at DXY. Let's look at S&P and Nasdaq, and we'll call it a night. And I'll peek at gold. Not going to take requests tonight, guys. I'm pretty exhausted. We did a play. I had church this morning. I did a play this afternoon, and then Super Bowl tonight, and a late live stream. I'm pretty tired. So I'll look at gold, and we'll call that a night after that. Okay. So again, just I've been saying this for the past several weeks now, that this is, once we broke this structure right here, okay, you see that break right there, and once we broke this to the upside, I got bullish on the DXY again. Okay, so the DXY is looking bullish, does not look complete, looks like we're going to continue to trend. It'll be choppy, but we'll probably continue to trend to the upside, much like this wave right here. And I'm wondering if it's going to be a 1-to-1 extension, and we're finally going to get that 110, 109, 110 that I've been calling for a while. So is this going to start breaking to the upside, giving a final final push up for DXY before it dies, right? So that's a potential, that's a possibility. So that's the way I'm thinking right now. I think that's more likely that this is a three-way move. I like this as 1, 2, 3. I like this as a triangle, A, B, C, D, E, and then there's wave 5. Finished, A, B. Let's get C now. Let's see if that plays. It may not play. This may come down here, and if that happens, then we're going to reevaluate the count that we have here. This could be an A, B, C, and there's your 1, 2, to the downside. If this comes down here like this, then obviously we're getting more bearish, right? So if the trend line on the DXY breaks the downside, so let's draw this trend line here. That's right there. If that breaks to the downside, I get bearish on the dollar. I get bullish on the euro. Okay, I get bullish on CAD and JPY, right? So you can start trading that. So if the DXY starts breaking below that, then I'm looking more bullish on other coins. Okay, so that's the way I'm thinking about that. So up is my trajectory for now, and I think that's the daily chart of the DXY. So S&P, let's take a peek at the S&P now. I got to pull up my DXY chart and go to the S&P. Give me 1 second. Guys, this wave is eventually going to end. Okay, I see the end of it at some point. My interpretation here of this wave is probably incorrect, by the way. Probably incorrect. I see this as a possible 5-wave move here. Here's how you'd count it. Got an impulse 1, say 2, 3, 4, 5. That might be a count for that wave. It's ugly. I know it's ugly, but that could also be an ABC of some kind or a WXY of some kind. But this is going straight up, guys. I feel like we're about to get something like this. So I feel like that move to the downside is coming. Looking at the Nasdaq, you see it a little bit better. The Nasdaq has a much better count than the S&P. So looking at the Nasdaq, guys, take a peek here. Time frame 3-day. Let's go to the weekly, 2-week. There you go. See it now, guys. See that count now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zoom in a little bit. What do you got? You need 5 waves in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we just need this 5 waves to finish. Once that's finished, we're going to look for a steep correction. One like we've not seen in a long time. That's my take. That's my take on this move here. Okay. Finally, let's look at gold, and then we're going to call it a night because, again, I am tired. My eyes are starting to shut down. Gold, I'm very bullish on gold, guys, looking at the weekly chart. I mean, guys, I see this very strong. Whenever I see something like this on the regular chart, I'm looking at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. Now give me a pullback, and then let's go to the moon. We could even pull back to this trend line and go again. But I'm looking for this to break out and up. I'm thinking we're pushing. We broke, pulled back. We broke again, pulled back, broke again. I think this is about to break out. I think gold's about to bust out. So that's another reason why I think we're about to have a big correction. I think the market's about to start correcting. Everybody's going to start buying gold. They're going to sell the markets and buy gold probably. That's the way I'm thinking about it. I don't know if that's the case, but let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay, but that's the way the gold chart looks to me. So, all right, guys, I enjoyed being around you. Thank you for coming and being a part of the live stream. Sorry if I didn't get to all your comments. Keith, let me look at Link for you just because you're the man. You've been around forever. So I'll look at Link really fast. Yeah, Link, that's an old count, so I don't know why it keeps coming back. Link has a very distinct 5-wave shape. You could argue that you got 1, 2. This is 3. We get 4, then 5. So we need to correct for a wave 4, and we go up for 5. You could argue that. You could argue for some more high, but we have a very 5-wave shape here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that finished? It doesn't look finished. It looks like it needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, Hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for joining the channel. If you're not part of the Discord, love to have you in the Discord. It's a great place to be. Join the Patreon. We'll get you in there tonight. We'll be live in the morning, live trading somewhere around 6 a.m., between 6 and 7, till about 9 a.m. We'll be live trading pre-New York, and then we'll be back at it in the evening, updating the video. So we'll see you there. I'd love to have you guys in the Discord. That said, thanks, Chemo. Appreciate you. Thanks for hosting us, guys. And everybody who commented, appreciate you as well. And if you can come back and leave a comment in the video, let everybody know this is a video we need to watch. That'd be amazing. But with that said, peace. Have a great night. Good night.